Are you guys ready for a new chapter in off-road history? Well, get prepared as we visit the new Ford Bronco. Hey everybody, it's Bub with Exodus 4x4, and we build badass Jeeps. It looks like we might be building badass Broncos. We're out here, King of the Hammers, and this video is going to be all things Bronco. I'm going to show you what the new 4600 class Bronco looks like. We're going to do a ride along with the new Bronco with a legendary off-road racer. Well, let's go for a ride along and let's take a look at the new Ford Bronco. Before we do that, we're going to go take a walk around on some of them, take a look at the inside, put our hands on them, look at a chassis that they have laid out, and point out some of the differences between the new Ford Bronco and what we're used to in our Jeep Wranglers. So let's go take a look. First off, let's look at the chassis. This is going to be one of the biggest differences between it and a Jeep Wrangler, what we're used to. And right up here in front, independent front suspension. You know, we're used to the solid axle, which is arguably stronger, but the independent front suspension will allow us to go a lot faster off-road. And if you're like me, you love to go, well, you love speed. And that's what this thing is built for. We're not sure about the rumors of the Raptor variation or whether or not that's even going to be a thing. Hopefully it is, because like I said, I love speed. But in the meantime, this will do. So let's get up here and take a closer look. So for those of you not familiar with independent front suspension is, it's exactly what it sounds like. Both tires are actually going to move independently from each other vertically. If we had a solid axle and one side went up, sometimes the other side would go down, or they would both go up at the same time, or both go down at the same time. In this situation, each front tire can move independent of the other. That offers, in some cases, more stability off-roading. More than anything for me, it's really cool when you catch air or you're airing it out. On a solid axle design, we have that track bar that keeps the axle centered. Unfortunately, it works like a pendulum, so when you go up in the air and that axle drops, it also messes with your steering a little bit. Not such a big deal until you actually land, and then that abrupt change in the steering geometry is going to mess with you a little bit, and it causes you to feel somewhat unstable. You're not going to have that problem with this because both wheels stay perfectly straight during that vertical movement. So really an awesome bonus for those of us like myself that like speed.
I want to go fast.
And one more thing I forgot to mention with independent front suspension is you're going to have like a rack and pinion steering. So you're not going to have those drag links like what we're used, or drag link like what we're used to. You're going to have two drag links, one on each side of the rack and pinion. So I'm not crazy about the front differential though. Looks like it's a clamshell type design like what we're used to seeing on Toyotas. It's not like on other independent suspensions. This is a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit trickier to re-gear these, and just judging by its location, dropping it out, it's possible. It's just going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. Now, we move to the back here, or behind the front section. This is their sway bar disconnect that we're familiar with on the Rubicon models. This is just like on a Rubicon model. It's a sway bar disconnect, really awesome. It's different because it's behind that front differential, but nonetheless, it still works pretty much the same way, and it's going to give you some awesome articulation off-road. Pretty cool feature, and I'm really glad that they incorporated it into the Bronco. You can see it's tying in back here on this sway bar arm, tying into that rear or that lower knuckle, and yeah, pretty cool. Check this out. Bilstein strut, not just some cheap shock. It's Bilstein. It's great. It comes from the factory with Bilstein shocks, and that's pretty cool. Look at this axle shaft, that CV shaft. That's not a little piddly nothing CV axle. It's actually pretty good for a stock CV axle shaft, so I'm kind of impressed with that. Let's move back here to the center. Now, one thing that I thought that was really weird is this cross member that's in the middle. If you look here, it actually is going to go underneath the drive shaft and go across, and then it has this other support that bolts in on top. Kind of unique and something that I'm not used to seeing on these off-road vehicles. I'm not really sure what the logic is there, other than during assembly, it does make it easier to drop it in and install the drive shaft. I doubt that was the complete reason, but it's definitely there. Now, moving to the rear differential, it looks almost like everything else that we're used to. Standard track bar or panhard, whatever you want to call it, right? And here, 4 lengths. Just like what we're used to on the Wranglers or Gladiator. Yep, nothing too crazy back here. Look how big this frame is. Looks a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger, definitely stronger than what I'm used to seeing on the Wrangler. So overall, I think the frame was built really well. I think it's going to hold up, and it's going to do some amazing things off-road. I can already see crazy long arm kits being developed for this thing in the rear. And the location of this coil spring and this strut, dude, coilovers are going to be bolting right into that factory mount. None of this crazy extra heavy bracketry that's going to have to be bolted in or welded in on these things. Coilovers are going to be bolting right in on these out the gate, and I can see long arm kits happening. I don't know what the body looks like back here, but see a lot of room for a fuel tank, and removing that fuel tank and triangulating this, getting rid of that panhard. I see a lot of wicked cool things happening with very minimal amount of frame modifications. So really rad. I'm excited. Can't wait to get in a minute and go for a ride. We're here with Matt from Bronco Nation, a YouTube channel that is dedicated solely to promoting the new Ford Bronco, so make sure you go check it out. We're standing behind a Bronco camper, or what we would call an Overland in the Jeep world, so we're going to do a walk around on it real quick, check it out. But basically, everything on here is by Ford, correct?
It's not all by Ford. There's also some aftermarket bits and accessories that you can't get directly from Ford. And when we go through a walk around, I'll point out some of those things to you guys.
Well, let's start at the very top. That's obviously not a Ford tent, but it's Yakima. But I'm assuming the base on top is that it's sitting on is by Ford, right?
Yeah. So you can get the rack from Ford, and you actually can get the tent in the Bronco order catalog. So
okay.
This tent is an accessory, a rooftop accessory that you can get, and it mounts to the factory rails or factory mounting provisions up there. There's rigid lights all the way around it. You've got those on the front bumper, the cowl, and the rear. The ones on the front you can order from factory. The ones on the rear are kind of a custom bit that they've added there.
And there's already mounting locations on the Bronco for them?
Yep, so there's factory accessory mounting points, that's what they call them.
Yep.
And so you can throw on lights or whatever you want onto those.
All right.
So I guess looking at some of the other aftermarket bits, we've got the 1552 wheels.
Yeah.
Those are not factory wheels. Obviously those are custom 17-inch wheels that someone threw on there. 35-inch BF Goodrich tires. And so those are not the tires that come on the Bronco itself.
But they fit without a lid, correct?
Right. Yeah, they fit. So
awesome.
I think they look great.
Yeah, they do. Okay, we got a CB antenna mounted up there.
Yeah,
right?
So you've got those trail mounting points up there.
Yeah.
And those are made for all sorts of accessories. Throw on a CB antenna or limb risers, things like that. All sorts of customization options, which is cool.
Right. Got a winch mount that I get looks like it's made by Ford, so we just throw that on there, and they mounted a, it looks like a Xeon winch.
It's a Xeon 10S winch, so it's a synthetic winch with a 10,000 pound towing capacity. This is the modular Ford Performance front bumper, I believe.
So that bumper wouldn't necessarily come with the vehicle unless you ordered it that way.
Yeah, you can order it that way.
Okay, cool.
So there are a couple different bumper options for that.
Rad. Okay. Looking inside at the dash, I see a rail system. Is that a Ford aftermarket thing?
I believe you can get that with the vehicle. They call it the bring your own device rail.
Yeah.
And so mount GoPro, CB antenna or radio, whatever you want, GPS.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a Picatinny reel system, like what we're familiar with seeing on like AR-15s, stuff like that. So pretty much there's a huge market out there for mounts and stuff like that you can buy relatively inexpensive that are going to go right on there and allow you to mount all kinds of devices. So that's pretty freaking cool, man. What else about this one makes it unique, I guess?
Well, we've got our Bronco Nation grill badge there. So, we have a YouTube.
Yep.
We do a lot of videos on Bronco specific things. So we've got a forum, a website for things like the member maps. You can see where other Bronco Nation members live. Roundup, which is for events and things like that. So, so you're building your own community of Bronco drivers out there. So that's pretty cool. What I love about what Ford did was they're doing exactly what you're doing. They're building this community out there for the Ford Bronco, but they built a lot of aftermarket, well, not aftermarket, they built a lot of accessories that you can buy and put on there, and they made the vehicle very accommodating to those accessories with minimal amount of modification. One of the things that I really like about the Bronco is the fact that you can go and swap out the body panels and these flares so easily. So like in 45 minutes, you can completely transform it into a vehicle with a lot more off-road ground clearance than what it has now, and with just two people. So that's pretty freaking cool. Let's go back here. I want to look. I see the windows are gone. These are not from factory. You would get glass in the panel there. They call these kind of a blackout panel. So they remove the glass, put in that panel. It's the same material as the hardtop, which is the mold-in color resin. So same color all the way through. It's not going to scratch. But this is something that you can't get from factory, like I said. But you know, maybe the aftermarket will do something like that.
Okay. So is that just that's like a concept right now, or okay? I got you. Then the aftermarket will definitely make it.
If it looks good, then someone will do it.
Well, yeah. So coming from the Jeep world, there's aftermarket companies that build stuff similar to that, but it's not as clean of an install. So if it's that easy, I'm sure somebody's going to pick it up pretty quick. And trail riding too, a lot of guys will get in close to trees and they forget about the tree once they get past these windows, and they'll bust these windows out a lot of times on trees or rocks on the trail. So deleting that would be awesome, especially if you can change it out before and after the trail use and save your glass. So that'd be pretty cool if they figure that out. Anything back here we're talking about?
This does have a fridge and a cargo management system, fridge freezer combo, a cargo management system that you can lock. So when you take the top off, then you can lock your goods in there.
Okay.
Right now, that's not something you can order with your Bronco, but again, that'll be something that, you know, surely is offered by the aftermarket.
Somebody, right. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps up our little walk around of the Overland. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And yeah, let's go check out a ride. All right.
We're just going to walk you up the vehicle and probably talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff that you're going to be get to see today.
Okay, cool.
All right,
all right, let's go.
There's several different modes: front and rear locker, engage, disengage, front and rear lockers, a turn assist switch on it. If anybody's ever driven a tractor,
Yep.
okay, you got 2 brake pedals.
Oh,
on the
we got the
tractor.
dig. We got the dig, right?
Yep, pretty much. That's what it is. The GOAT modes go over all terrain. Not greatest of all time. You know, in my big driver, we put these things through their paces already.
Yeah.
They've had several years of development, but the last 2 days we've hammered them.
Yeah.
Because it's Hammer Town. It's Hammer Town. Here's your group for you.
A group. Yep.
Can you handle it?
I'm Bubba.
He can handle anything.
Kurt.
Nice to meet you, Kurt.
So I'm Kurt Leduc. I've raced off-road for 30-something years and got to be a part of this program, and let's go see what it'll do.
Yep.
This is the emergent mounting of a Bronco. Seat belts.
We call these the hero buttons up here.
Okay.
Down here is the GOAT mode. It's a dial. Right now we're in normal. It does a lot of things automatically as we go through different modes, and we'll go through all that. Clear to the right. The back, it seems to be a little bit rougher than the front ride. So Bubba scored.
I have a bad back, and I've been driving in here, my solid axle Jeep just on this part right here is killing me. But man, it feels good in here.
If I'm doing something you don't like, this is fun, this is no fun.
I got you. No, we're more like this.
Okay, this is Kurt in the staging area, ready to take a lap. Just while we're on the fly, we can rotate around and go all the way up to Baja mode.
Yep.
Which shifts it into 4x4. I like to turn off the sway bar, and then we go.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It's a 2.7 twin turbo V6. So I was part of the race program with the Bronco that ran the Baja 1000 the last 2 years.
Okay.
I was one of the drivers.
Yeah.
Did my section at night up to Melling Sky Ranch, and I did the start. I started at
Mike's Sky Ranch.
Yep.
Nice. My favorite place there. We were just there in October. Yeah.
The heritage of Mike's is what makes it impressive. See that? Invisible bump.
I'm telling you, man, this thing is butter.
Oh, man.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
This is nice.
Here's our other group coming back of the sports. Wow. So once you get over 20 miles an hour, it automatically puts the sway bar back in.
Awesome.
So it does a lot of things that as drivers we had to do manually over the years.
Right.
I love the fact the camera stays on the speed.
Yes. I'm not looking at it though.
I can't imagine.
Thank you for that.
But it's so crystal clear. It's like watching the the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, it really is.
First impressions, Bubba?
I need it.
I
need it. Yeah, now. Dude, this thing is rad.
Now, have Have you driven the rumored Warthog yet?
Yes.
How is it?
Impressive.
More impressive.
And they're not done with it either. And these are pre-prototype. These are pre-production as well.
Right.
So there's a few things that they're looking for feedback on this ride drive. I mean, this was big for Ford to come out. It's a manufacturer. And it's the Raptor version of this. How extreme do you want to drive it? The beauty of this is on the highway with the independent front suspension is the street drivability is better than some other vehicles.
So is the Warthog, it's still independent, right?
Yes, everything's all independent.
Just got more horsepower and more shock.
This only has 33s. This is a Badlands version. They're all have the same powertrain, except the one that's open top here is a 4-cylinder turbo manual transmission. So it has that super low rock crawling transmission in it.
Right.
If that's what you're doing.
I like to go fast though. So
Well, that's how I got a trophy room. It wasn't from locking the hubs in, I can tell you that. I still race a trophy truck in my old age. I don't know why, because I'm 20 years old when I'm behind the wheel. So as we get up to the sand hill up here, we will put it in sand mode. But again, you don't have to stop. This has a thing called turn assist. We'll demonstrate up here in the sand.
that's the dig, right?
The dig.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this, now we're in sand mode. It turns the camera off, which I think it should stay on.
Probably
It does put in the rear locker.
automatically.
As
Wow,
soon as
nice.
you just turn the dial,
Yeah.
select the sand.
But you're still in high range, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
But it's a twin turbo. It just it just makes torque, it makes power. Okay, so this is our turn assist.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So what you just saw was
Demonstration.
technically what do we call that?
Turn assist.
Turn assist, which is basically like turning brakes on a tractor
Or dune buggy.
or dune buggy. Yeah, it's like cutting brakes. Whoa.
Oh man, this is so awesome. Grown men laughing.
Yeah,
I like it.
I love it.
You felt the jounce, the bottoming out. It's a second piston in these Bilsteins. It's activated once you get up into the bump zone of the travel. So like it would be an air bump on a race car, right? A King bump stop or
Yeah.
a Fox bump
A
stop.
bump zone?
Yeah. So it has a bump zone.
Sweet.
The Warthog has something more advanced. So let me hold it. I'm not sure. So anyways, there's Hammertown. Of course, you guys have seen that.
This is my new best friend.
Kurt Leduc, off-road driver, Hall of Fame, Ball 1000 winner, and now Bronco demonstrator.
And rule flexor. That's what we love about it.
Good.
You ready, Kurt?
First half successful.
Well, I can tell you this, that we could not have done that in my truck, and my back couldn't have handled that.
No, for sure.
No way.
This thing has a thing called one pedal, and I'll demonstrate it up here. So basically, it's low speed cruise control.
Okay.
So it's either for going up or going down. Push one button here,
Okay.
trail control comes on. So this is trail control. So what it does is it controls the brake and the throttle. So you set your cruise control over here
Uh-huh.
in trail control, and it applies the brakes. So you can set it for 3 miles an hour to go down this,
Oh, okay.
or
And
4
it'll just automatically brake and control the
brake
speed.
and throttle.
Wow.
And so it's good for going up and going down. So guys with experience probably don't need it, but if you tell your wife to follow you out some trail, it just makes it easier for her. Okay, so now we're down here. We're gonna come out of sand and switch back to Baja.
Baja mode. Yes.
Camera comes back on.
It's just so smooth, man. And that's the biggest part for me.
Yeah, so it's got a 5-link rear suspension with the coil and position sensitive shocks with a bump stop built in. So now we're going to go to rock crawling mode, which requires neutral. Turn the knob to rock crawl. Put it back in gear. It's shifted into low. Now we're in low range. So it puts in the rear locker. You can lock in the front locker, but we all know it steers harder, so let's leave it unlocked. So it does all that automatically. You don't have to adjust anything. And so I'm going to demonstrate to you guys the sway bar
Okay.
disconnect, right? We agree we're on
Rear connected.
2 wheels, right?
Yep.
Disconnect the sway bar, and it levels it right back out.
And I want to note, it did it under a load.
Under
Yeah.
a load.
Jeeps
Yes.
don't do that.
No.
Yeah.
And they learn from that.
All the Bronco guys had to do was look at a Jeep and find all the things wrong with it and build this.
And care to make it better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest
That's
thing.
the biggest thing. They listen to the customer.
Consumer.
Yeah, the consumer.
And they have over 200 accessories that are available through Ford. I could see this technology for the sway bar, stability bar, the Ford calls it, to make its way into the rock crawling scene. Because if you can unload it with that kind of load
Yes.
and attach it electronically where it lines up right, like I could see where it would make your car better, your rock crawler better, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We all agree.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to get out, pull a pin. It does have rub rails. Obviously, they're doing a photo shoot over there. But even like this little deal, we'll lock the front end and just crawl it. See the rock sensor, and it shows you where it is on the screen.
There's a rock sensor.
Well,
That's cool.
an obstacle sensor,
Sure.
potentially. We're done with rock crawling, so we'll go to neutral. We'll go up to Baja mode. Turn that off, turn that off, turn that's off. Back in drive. So, you know, if you see some cars coming,
We're just floating around.
so one of the things that we do is called the trail of missions that I do with you and
Yes.
Steel.
Yes.
And I'm one of the MacGyvers, and I know Baja, and so I get to tell all the stories of, you know, the missions and why this is here and the history of the racing. But when something breaks, I'm the guy that fixes it, gets it out of the desert.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Have a portable welder, and, you know, Raptors and Jeeps, and it's a whole mix of.
Oh God, I love it. I'm buying one.
Damn, dude.
Now.
It's unbelievable. This is crazy. Look at this corner.
This is an approved.
Wow. Going about 60.
62. Yeah.
I'm really good friends with Ray Curry. Actually, the first trail of missions I went with Ray.
Yeah.
And Casey Curry was my intern for short course racing. Okay, so now we come back, and so now we can switch it back to normal. Takes it out of 4-wheel drive, hooks the sway bar back up. Like, it just, now you can drive it into town.
All right.
And we're done, huh? God, what a great ride, man.
Awesome ride. You're a great salesman.
Great. So great to meet you.
Yeah.
It's an honor to get to ride with you driving, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't mention any of that.
All right, well, that wraps up our test drive or test ride in the all-new Ford Bronco, and I am blown away. I don't know if you can tell or not by my expressions in the video, but just right out the gate, it was completely stock Badlands edition, and Kurt LeDuc, a legend in off-road racing, was our driver, and there is no question that he put it through its paces and showed us absolutely how badass it was. I want to get back in it and ride in this thing all day because it is that freaking awesome. But man, I'm in love with this thing, and I really can't wait for you all to experience what that's like. Take my word for it. Go buy you a brand new Bronco, and you're gonna love it. Tony, what are you getting?
Holy crap, I'm getting a Bronco. I've got one on reservation and I have no regrets now.
But yeah, that wraps it up. Thanks again, Kurt.
This is my work uniform.
Yeah, I need one of these. But yeah, that wraps it up. Go get you a Bronco. They're badass, and I love it.